So we are finishing up the Sparkling Clean program, and what I was going to do here is talk about some of the common mistakes that we've seen cleaners miss, and that maybe we've missed ourselves in the past, but are really important areas. The first area is going to be on the floor here. What this is called, and Marie, you can come a little closer with that camera. This is called a floor transition. So the floor is changing from this laminate to the tile, and there's usually a little bit of an elevation change. This one's pretty pronounced. But what we get around these areas is hair caught, debris caught. So at the end of your clean during the mop, one of the best ways to do this is to just take a paper towel, some Pine Sol or some surface cleaner, and just wipe off the area of the transition on both sides. This is the area where hairs, again, are going to collect. In this paper towel, you might be able to see there's a very large hair. There was a couple other hairs that I got. One other example, we could stay low, of another transition is right here. So I typically walk around with a paper towel in my pocket, and I'll just wipe off the transition. Again, just checking right there. So those are the transitions. That's one of my pet peeves that we like to get. Another thing that's commonly missed are corners. Corners and edges, sometimes hard to reach places. Again, that's why we use the vacuum. There's a couple different other tools. We have a whole video on this Shark vacuum, how to use it. The needle nose is really the right tool here for corners and edges. I'm gonna just show you really quick a couple spots. I'm also gonna get the transition with this as well, because it's a good tool to get the transition. Lastly, hard to reach spaces. So typically we try not to design things with this, but this pallet island right here has a gap. Food, things like that, hair gets caught in this gap, so we just want to get in there and suck it out. So that's corners and edges while I still have the vacuum in my hand. Another thing that can be commonly missed, or we see cleaners miss, is at certain times of the year, no-see-um bugs, flying bugs, really flies of some sort, they can get on the ceiling. People don't look up, they miss them. Guests let them in. Sometimes they leave lights on, they leave doors open, they let them in. So the most effective way to get rid of them is if you're tall, right? You could use the Shark. And if there were some bugs up there, you could just suck them up with the vacuum. I think I might have showed you this extension before when we were cleaning a ceiling fan at one point, but if you're on the smaller side, this is the tool that works. I'm not even really reaching up, and I'm hitting a vaulted ceiling up here. So that's the point. There's no bugs on the ceiling right now, but they do show up typically in spring and fall. Right now we're in the winter. And you want to get those out of here because nobody wants to come into a place with bugs in it. So now that takes me to the second to last thing I want to talk about, which is simply hair on fabrics in beds. It's one of the #1 complaints that we get from a guest about cleanliness is hairs, and they are typically going to accumulate in the bed. So Maria's done a whole video on how to do a bed. We've done a pet series on how to clean a bed. Just want to reiterate, this is one of the areas that we still get complaints about. So most effective ways to really get hairs, the mega hair roller, and we just want to roll things out. So again, there's a whole video on this where we've done a couch, we've done the linens, we've done pets. Again, this is just to stress that we want to get out as much hair as possible. The last thing I'm going to talk about that can be overlooked is actually in the kitchen area. And I'm going to come over here, I'm going to grab myself a paper towel. Sometimes cleaners assume, because dishes are in the dishwasher, or they're already hung up, that they're clean. We have to check them because sometimes they're not. Sometimes guests never use a dish, a fork in the house. Sometimes they really make themselves comfortable. So for example, this one right here has got some oil on it. This was not checked, it was missed. And it's not gonna come up like crazy, but if you were to touch this pot right now, it's a little greasy. And if I just came in and I was heating up some water to boil my mac and cheese, you know, I wouldn't be so stoked about that. So we want to make sure the dishware is clean. If you're emptying the dishwasher, you want to make sure as you're pulling out the silverware, cups, items like that, that they are in fact clean. And if they're already in there, as they are here, just want to check them out. You want to check them out, make sure there's no globs of gunk and stuff like that. So those are some of the most common mistakes. Thank you.